Business Blueprint, simplifying your success.
When I was 8 years old, little boy in London, my dad took me down to Waterloo Station. This isn't my dad. He took me down to Waterloo Station to have a look at these beautiful old steam trains. You know the ones I'm talking about. They look like they should have been retired years ago, but somehow they're still working. I was so excited going up on the tube from Wimbledon, where we were living at the time, and we landed in Waterloo. We didn't land, we arrived. We were on an aeroplane train. So we arrived at Waterloo Station, and I said to my dad, "Dad, look at these things, they're so huge. How do they move down the track? Like, I don't get it. Do people pull them? Like, how many people are involved in this thing?" And he said, "No, what happens, son, is you put some coal into a fire, and that fire gets really, really hot, and it builds up pressure in the engine, and then the driver releases the brake, and it starts moving down because of the heat in the engine." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sounds cool. You know what this is? This is you identifying who your audience is." That's exactly what it is. Then you start moving down the track. You're starting to create that content. Everything's buzzing along nicely. You're getting a few blog comments, a few retweets. Who doesn't love a retweet? You can't beat a good retweet, particularly when you're helping people with that initial piece of content that you've shared. At this point, those P2P relationships are starting to warm up as well. You continue pumping coal onto the fire, just like we did on that day, and you start to really pick up some serious speed along the track. At this point, those P2P relationships are really in place. Your audience is starting to share their problems, their issues with you, and then you're starting to make some money. Now you're going along, you're really in cruise control right now, but this is where almost everyone will quit because they're not making enough money, because they're not getting enough ROI on the investment that they've made in creating the content, building the brand, interacting with their audience, building up those P2P relationships. This is where almost everybody quits. But if you push a little harder, if you focus a little more, if you take those relationships to the next level and provide those solutions to those problems based upon those P2P relationships, the business of you will be so solid that you will create those raving fans, and they will buy everything you put out. They will retweet everything that you tweet. They will comment on every blog post, listen to every podcast, and give you money on a very regular basis. It's happening to me right now. 5 years ago, I'd never written, which is just ridiculous when I think about it. Why did I wait so long? But 5 years ago, I'd never written a blog post. I'd never listened to a podcast, let alone actually record one, and I'd never sent out a tweet on the Twitter. But here I am, a brick-and-mortar business owner who's doing all of this online based around providing great content and building amazing P2P relationships. That's the business of you, and each and every single one of you should be doing this going forward in your business. Thank you very much.
Business Blueprint. To access more great content, visit businessblueprint.com.